My name's Dave Ford and this is Logan, out once again on a walk in the New Forest. Now today we're at the very pretty little village of Minstead, which is about 2 miles north of Lyndhurst. Now a few weeks ago I bought a little book called Pocket Pub Walks in the New Forest by Anne-Marie Edwards. So I thought I'd try out one of her walks today. I'll put a map up on screen to show you where we're going. Basically we're going to be starting off in the centre of the village, having a little wander through up to Furzey Gardens. There's a lovely little woodland walk to go through, and then we'll be coming down through Newtown and we'll be finishing up at a church, very unusual, and it's got a very famous grave in the churchyard. I'll give you a little clue to keep you in suspense. Now it's quite a chilly day today. We're filming on the 10th of January. Although the sun's out, it's 4 or 5 degrees, so we need to keep moving. So do join us. We're going to start the walk in a very quaint little village green. I'm just by the war memorial here, which has a well, or disused well, in front of it. As you can see, it's been capped by a wooden cover. And then just panning round, there's the pub, which I'll have a look at in a minute. And then a lovely benching around a tree in the middle of the green. And then just wandering over here, some stocks. I believe there have been stocks on the village green since the 1800s. Those look as though they've been refurbished. I wonder when they were used last. Haha, this is helpful. A little map of the area. You can see my shadow in the background. It's a very low sun today. I don't know whether you're going to be able to see this, but we are here. So we're going to wander up here. Now Anne-Marie Edwards' little book tells us that we should be going down here, but we're not going to be going down that footpath. I'll tell you why when we get there. But we're going to carry on up here. There's a lot to see I want to show you around here anyway. And then we're going to go down here. This is round by Furzey Gardens. There's a lovely woodland walk all the way down here where I can let Logan off the lead. Up this bridleway, around here, another lovely little lane, and then through the little hamlet of Newtown, and then through here, and there's a nice little woodland walk through here, and we'll finish at the church. Okay, let's have a quick look at the pub, which of course will be our final destination as it is a pub walk. Here we go, the Trusty Servant, which is dates back to the 1800s. But let me just have a look at the sign there. Isn't that unusual? That is the Trusty Servant. Now there is some sort of link with Winchester College. I think they may possibly have owned the land at some point in the past. But the Trusty Servant is an emblematic figure in a painting at Winchester College. I think it was painted in 1579. Now the pig with the padlocked snout, that illustrates discretion. The stag's feet indicate speed in running errands, and as for the donkey's ears, well, I have no idea at all. Now there is a little plaque over by the barn side here, so let's have a little look and see what that says. Here we go. I won't read it in full. I'll put a picture up on screen and you can freeze the frame if you want, but right at the bottom it mentions, yeah, Winchester College there. So that's our final destination sorted out. Just having a little meander through the village now, and there are some really beautiful old houses. And that's quite typical of one there. There's so many cob and timber frame cottages with thatched roofs. Look at this one here, Wisteria Cottage. Isn't that lovely? So it really is a perfect day for walking today. It's nice to see the sun, but it is very low, so I shall have a challenge to keep that out of the camera today. Now, Anne-Marie's little booklet suggests that we clamber over this stile and follow this footpath along the side of a field. But I came here about a week ago on a little reconnaissance walk on my own without Logan. Went down there. It is extremely muddy, almost impenetrable actually. So we're going to do a little detour. There was also a warning sign which gave me a little bit of cause for concern. So we're going to carry along to the top half of the village. There's a few things I want to see up there and show you anyway, and then we'll meet up with the footpath on the other side. Gosh, goodness me, I think that tree house has seen better days. A little precarious to say the least. I'm not sure what the health and safety executive would say about that. We're now at the top end of the village and come across another little green area, a place called Seaman's Corner. Now, I've no idea why it's called that, sorry about that. But I have found a little boundary stone. Let's have a look now. Hopefully you can see. I'll try and put a picture up if it's too much of a glare from the sun, but HCC is written on it, and that stands for Henry Combe Compton. Now he was the lord of the manor here between, I think it was 1803 and 1866. Well, we've made our way to the back of Furzey Gardens. We're not going to have time to go in here. It does have tea rooms, although they're closed at the moment. In fact, I see they don't allow dogs in here anyway, so which is a shame. But so it is open at times. I think it's between 8 and 10 acres, depending on which reference book you look at. And it includes a magnificent collection of azaleas and rhododendrons that flourish on the acidic soil. It was first planted in 1922 and opened to the public in 1930, but it was closed in 1972 and sold. I'm not 100% sure when it reopened, but it's now run as a trust. We'll have a little look over the fence without actually going in. Now, I think that is Furzey Cottage, and if it is, that's the one that's 400 years old. It only has a couple of bedrooms, and at one time used to house a family with 14 children. Right, okay, well we're now going to head down some woodland, and I can finally let Logan off the lead. I think he'll be quite pleased about that. Well, as regular viewers will know, I have a thing about styles. Some are good for dogs, some aren't quite so good. This is a good one, as I will now demonstrate with my hound. Logan, come. Come on. Good boy. Sit. You're going to sit. There we go. And if you thought that I managed to do that in just the one take, you'd be wrong. Good morning. We're now making our way through the little hamlet of Newtown, which is just on the outskirts of Minstead. Again, got some lovely properties here. Nice timber frame one there, and then these. This is typical of the lanes around here, bordered each side by holly. And gosh, look, what have we got? Oh yes, now I did meet a lovely lady who's lived in the village all her life, just back up the road, and she said I had to look out for this little building. I believe this is a pigsty. Isn't it lovely? And then over on the left here, a building called the Old Off Licence, and indeed that's exactly what it was. Again, thatched, but so pretty round here. Don't do it, Logan, don't do it. Well, this is Fleet Water, which, as you can see, was a ford, and it eventually goes and joins up with another stream called Mill Stream, and eventually becomes Bartley Water. Alright, I'm just about to go into another bit of woodland. This is called Manor Wood, I think. See if I can get round with my backpack on. Just about. Now, can you get through, Logan? Come on. Hey, good boy. Okay, so this is going to take us back to the church. Well, obviously a little bit of tree felling going along here. In fact, it's quite a good reminder. There's a lot of history of this area of charcoal production going back many years, and this is the village church, the church All Saints, and I think it's one of those churches where bits are added on over the years. The chancel and nave date from the 13th century. The rest of the building and tower is 18th century or later. I believe there were 3 bells originally, but now there are 6 bells. Let's go and see if we can have a look inside. Right, in we go. Now I'm keeping my fingers crossed that there's going to be enough light in here to show up. But isn't this lovely? This is obviously the altar. See if I've got a little spotlight. Now look on the left here, there are a couple of private pews, and looks like one is still used today. Isn't that lovely? Own little fireplace, keep you warm during the service. Fantastic. And then this is the altar, obviously. And then just turning around. Now what's unusual, well I think it's unusual about this church, there's not one gallery but 2 galleries. I believe originally one of them used to be for the church minstrels or musicians, and then one of them used to be for the poor. Now, somebody did tell me, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but the top gallery in the old days used to be for the a lot of the workers around here used to work in the charcoal industry, and they used to smell of burnt wood. So they were asked to sit up there so that people weren't annoyed by the smell. Don't know if that's true or not, but it's a nice story. And just have a look round to the side there. And then what have we got written up here? See if hopefully it'll come out on the camera. There we go. 1st of January 2000, the congregation undertakes to carry out 1,000 acts for the benefit of others. And this promise made today lasts until it's fulfilled. Wow. I wonder if it was fulfilled. But lovely. I say slightly unusual with the 2 galleries. Now, just looking along here, hopefully it'll show up with the spotlight. Some really long, extra long pegs, and of course this was to hold the gentleman's stovepipe hats in the old days. Well, I mentioned right at the beginning there was a famous person buried here in the churchyard. Did you guess who it was? Let's have a look at the gravestone. Yes, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Famous for, of course, writing all those Sherlock Holmes novels. Now, he actually died in 1930, and at the time of his death he was living in Crowborough in East Sussex, and he was buried in his garden there initially in a vertical position. Apparently he was a dedicated spiritualist. His second wife died in 1940, was buried alongside him. But when the family home was sold in 1955, the decision was made to reinterr the bodies and bury them here in Minstead. And there they are, resting together. He did live at one stage at Bignell Wood, which wasn't far from here, so that's why there was a connection with Minstead. And I think, in fact, he mentioned Minstead, or referred to Minstead, in his novel, the White Company. But it was it was a little embarrassing. The church gave permission for the burial, but because he was a spiritualist, they did it on the condition that the bodies were buried as far away from the church as possible. So that's why the grave is right at the edge of the churchyard on the boundary. And it's right by this rather magnificent tree. Be careful where the sun is at the moment. And shortly after the bodies were buried, this tree was struck by lightning. And you can still see some of the burn scars on it. So maybe that was the way the good Lord was having his say in the matter. Well folks, we've come to the end of our walk. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a like and make a comment, and do subscribe to join us for another walk in the New Forest sometime in the future. Now Logan and I are off to the Trusty Servant pub now for some light refreshment. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and cheerio.